Here is the story of the United States of America. The real version, the actual truth, the truth, not the crap that American kids have been learning in school all these years. This is the straight up skinny. The governments of Europe, especially the Royal Crown of Britain or the United Kingdom, England, whatever, they wanted to expand their empire, blah, blah, blah. They made an investment, and I'm giving you like the short version. They made an investment in they got a bunch of people that wanted to go, basically kind of like now with who wants to go to Mars. So anyway, back then it was who wants to go to the New World. So they got a bunch of people, and they loaded them up in ships with supplies and sent them over here. And the people were not running from oppression or religious intolerance. No. See, they had an incentive by the government offered them some. It was all an operation by the countries they were from, and the people had signed up and joined the program, and they were getting something from it. And plus the promise of all these, this material wealth that's supposed to be, out in the New World. So they established colonies, the original 13, whatever. So they were colonies. They were not official provinces or whatever you want to call them of, the Royal Crown. That's why they did not have representatives in Parliament. Just like a territory of the United States is basically a colony, and they don't have representation in Congress, and therefore they don't pay taxes. The prime example of such territory would be Puerto Rico. So anyway, but I'm sure the Puerto Ricans pay their way for being sheltered by America in other ways. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So they set up their colonies, and they made friends with the Indians. The Indians greeted them as they welcomed them. They said, well, you hang out, whatever. We'll help you fucking plant shit, and da 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 da. So that was in the beginning, and then after they got established, they set up their colonial governments over each colony. Da 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 da. There started to become I would say the mimicking of Great Britain, where you got an aristocracy, and then you've got the lower classes of people, and all the people that were the governors and the statesmen and all that shit, the colonial statesmen. They were all the aristocracy, and a lot of them were Freemasons and such. And anyway, things broke down with the Native Americans because America was a backstabber from the beginning, the United States. So anyway, the whole time since they came over here, they were having ships coming in from Great Britain, supply ships, on a daily basis, pulling into the harbors, unloading all these supplies. And they have British troops over here, policing the streets and keeping order, protecting people from crime and hostile natives, da 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 da. And then these English citizens that were over here in colonies, that were just colonies, mind you, were enjoying, for the most part, most of them were enjoying this, high class of, well, back then what they called high class English, aristocratic lifestyle. But there was this vast territory out west beyond the colonies, all the way to the west coast, full of rich, natural, raw fucking material. And so some people, these higher ups, the governors and da da da, got together and talked among themselves and decided that they wanted it. They didn't want to be subjects of Great Britain and have the royal crown. If Great Britain could have, get their hands on that. Okay. So they spread disinformation among the people, and it caused them to believe that the royal crown was up to no good toward them, and a lot of things were faked, whatever. And a lot of these like the Boston Massacre, that was a staged event. Those people were put up to doing that. It was a handful of people on a street corner, and they were drunk. They had been drinking, and before they set out to do this, because they already planned they were going to do it. It was just a handful, and they were causing trouble, causing a ruckus. And a troop of British soldiers that were patrolling the streets, keeping order and policing. Basically, it just told them break it up and go home. Well, one of the individuals in the group rushed at one of the British troops and was subsequently shot and was killed. And the rest of them just scattered and went. One fucking person who rushed at a British troop was shot and killed. That was some fucking goddamn massacre. That was, reason enough to rebel against your government. Anyway, and then these higher ups, were brainwashing these people that they were being. Oh yeah, this is part and parcel to the story. For all this supplies to maintain these people's lifestyles and give them supplies and live in luxury, basically, and for the troops over there, it was costing the British Crown. It was costing a lot of money, and the king put a tax on certain things, not everything, certain things, and it wasn't an outrageous tax. Just to recoup some of the payment from the colonists, so they can help pay their way for their support, and it was spread throughout the people by these higher ups that they were being illegally taxed because they didn't have representation in Parliament. They were colonies. They were basically experimental colonies at that point. That's why they didn't have representation. They weren't actually they hadn't been established as actual provinces or whatever of Great Britain. That's why they didn't have representatives in Parliament. But the tax, it's like taxation is kind of like a tribute, especially when you got a monarchy. It's a tribute to the king or the queen, whatever. And that's what it wasn't an official tax. They weren't being taxed as citizens of. It was just a small stamp on certain items as a tribute, an extraction of tribute to recoup some of the make the colonies basically pay something back toward the crown for all the lavish whatever they would be supported with. But anyway, that was the excuse, and the attack on the British soldier was set up, and all that was used to rebel. All that was used to rebel against the British Crown, and by some high up fucking rich motherfuckers of that day, because they wanted to expand out west and then suck up all that shit. The, the United States was not founded on the ideas of freedom and then freedom of oppression and tyranny, and it wasn't. There's no manifest destiny. It was all just plotting by some rich Freemasonic whatever. And that grouping of people are the beginning of the shadow government that is running things now. And the people, there's a lot of people that saw that, and they stayed loyal to the crown, and subsequently they were called loyalists, and they were systematically hunted down and executed without a trial or without fair whatever. They're just hunted down and executed as traitors. And shortly after the war, we were always taught in school that the United States, the lower 48 continent, has never been invaded by a foreign force. They said that all the time. The United States has never been invaded. Well, they must forget about the War of 12 or 14, when after the British retreated. They retreated. They backed off for a little while after the initial war for independence. It wasn't a revolution. Okay, I want to say this. There was no American Revolution. A revolution is an overthrow of your government. Great Britain is still there. There was no overthrow of the British Crown. It was a war for independence from the government. Okay? And the establishment of its own government. Okay? Further, where was I? Kind of lost track of my thoughts. The people after Britain, after the king withdrew, because it was a protracted and bloody war. They withdrew to just kind of like recoup and whatever, and then they came back the colonists thought, wait, we won, and then hooray, we're a new nation. Well, the Brits came back. The Brits came back a few years later and invaded, and that was to reclaim the colonists. That was a foreign invasion, according to my thinking. It's technical. That's all how you look at it. And the only reason why the United States is in existence today is because the conflict was so brutal and bloody and dirty fighting on the part of the colonists. Anyway, that the people in Parliament just got their stomachs got turned. They just got disgusted with it, and they got together and they had themselves a little vote, and they decided that the king no longer had any power, which the king didn't find to his liking, and he wanted to continue and take back. He would have continued the war until the colonists were reclaimed, but Parliament didn't let him. They basically conspired against the king and stopped listening to him. And basically the king was now powerless. And that's why the British monarchy, ever since those days, and they're a figurehead. The prime minister and the parliament, the prime minister parliament, they hold the power, they execute the power. And they talk about briefing the queen and all that stuff, but that's basically saying, hey, Queenie, this is what we're going to do. And she said, okay. And he stamps her little approval on it, and they do it. So, anyway, that's the story. The United States complained about not having representation in Parliament. It's Parliament. It's the British Parliament that basically is why the United States exists today, because the Parliament basically shut down the war against the King's will. So, what did the United States what did the new nation proceed to do? This great bastion of freedom. Oh, they proceeded to start land grabbing and expanding out west, killing us and slaughtering Native Americans, uh, uh, putting them on reservations, and, you know, uh, and every treaty that the United States ever made with the Native Americans, they broke them. They did just flat out just oh, that piece of paper don't mean nothing. Yeah, we just lie to people. That's what they. And then after and then what were what were they selling down in the square at the auction? Oh yeah, black people to do their work for them as slaves. Yeah, and the history since the and then there was the Civil War, which many people think is primarily about slavery. It's not. It wasn't. See, the original government was a loose confederation of states, and each state had its say over its own inner statehood. And the federal government was just basically an agreement of the states to stick together and support each other. These plotters, they decided that wasn't conducive to their further plans. So they decided to toss the original constitution out and agreements, and decided to say, well, we're forming a federal government, and all the states have to listen to us, or else federal our little universal federal government trumps state law. States didn't like that. Many of them rebelled. It was all about states' rights. The slavery issue was just a side distraction. And even if the South had won the war, slavery probably would have been, abolished soon after that anyway. I mean, people, people kind of tend to realize, whatever. But they would have abolished slavery and probably gave them their civil rights a lot sooner than the 1960s. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, the whole history of the United States from even before its beginning is just one long chain of fucking lies and deceptions and plotting by evil fucking little rich motherfuckers at the top of the fucking yeah. So anyway, I wouldn't call that manifest destiny. I would call that manifest destruction. So there you go. There's your history, your true history about the United States of America by Vance Gibson.